Hi there everybody, Felix the Journalist reporting live again, here with the BRC, and today we're going to be interviewing separately another member of the community named Roach. So Roach, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, you can also start off with your name as well, just to double confirm, and then go on from there with your story, please.
Hi, I'm Roach. I'm 22. I was born in the northeast of England in a town called Carlisle. Um, when I was younger, I had to fend for myself. I was the smallest of my family, so that's what made me join the army. I was sent out to Iraq twice, saw some things no man should see, and now I live with that, and it's not good.
I totally agree. Being in any, in my opinion, anyways, a lot of military experiences can be very traumatic, and leave obviously the PSD there. So I mean, I'm sorry you had to see some of these events that happened.
Yeah.
So as followed.
After,
Oh yes, go ahead, mate.
oh, sorry. After the got back from the military, I had to go to therapy quite often. However, I did turn myself around and I'm now a licensed therapist and I have been for the last 5 years.
Okay, so you're a therapist. So does that mean that you've been also doing some due diligence work and helping Dean here when rehabilitating a lot of the folks that have come here?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to give Mickey a bit of therapy because he wasn't feeling too good. He wasn't in the best of spaces, so I had to get his head straight and sort him out for a few weeks.
All right, that's perfect. I'm glad that you guys are pretty much having each other's backs and kind of working like a good one unit type of thing, which is amazing to hear. And is this the reason why you decided to come and join here to help these people?
Um, I originally came here because I was found by Mickey and Roach. I wasn't in the best of places. I originally was here with my mate. He died of starvation and he didn't want me to die, so I had to, well, eat him. And they found me. I wasn't in a good place. They brought me to this compound, and now I'm a lot better, cured.
Okay, mate. So you must have been the ex-cannibal then.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, mate. And you say you ate your friend. That must have been like really hard.
Yeah, it was. However, he did say, if I die first, you can eat me if you need to. So I kind of had to.
And you just were you like surrounded by like a place where you were unable to find food or something?
We were in the middle of a field. There were zombies. We were in the house in the middle of a field. There were zombies coming around us. We had no supplies left, so I had to eat him and wait out for another 2 weeks before anyone found me.
Oh my word, mate! That sounds a very unfortunate situation to be in, um, and I'm sorry that that had to be the way it had to be. I have actually personally interviewed an actual cannibal before here in Livonia, who actually was in Brenner. Actually, I lied, not Brenny, sorry. He was in Gleninska, just a town over. And he almost has a very similar story to you. But anyways, so as being, in that circumstance, and obviously probably something you probably didn't want to have to do, is that correct?
Yeah, it was the worst thing of my life. Shouldn't have done it, but I had to.
Yeah, sometimes this world has put us in a position where we got to do things that probably would not be proud of ourselves or our mothers would be proud of to see us do. But I totally understand what you're saying, mate, and no one is going to blame you for that, I'm sure. So, onwards from that is now that, as I heard earlier, the Mr. Dean has cured you of this disease, and has there ever been another like moment where you sat there and you're like, I kind of like this. I kind of want to do it again. Is that something that ever crossed your mind?
It did once, but I mentioned it to Dean, and he isolated me for a few days, and finally it went. I feel a lot better now than I did.
So you think isolation is the answer to potentially helping a person that used to be a cannibal or has thoughts of being one?
Yes, because it keeps them away from human contact, so it stops them seeing them and stops seeing them as food, and then after a while, your brain will just click and you'll get a lot better.
Ah, all right, nice. And afterwards, like when you had obviously, taken the actions you did towards a friend of yours for, survival purposes, after that, was it coming to a point where you felt consistently that urge to want to eat more people and before you met Dean there?
By the time I met Mickey and Dean, I hadn't eaten for about a week, so I was hungry, and I did for a while plan on killing one of them to eat them. I have never told them this, but
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Well, I'm sure they trust you now from what it sounds like, and as you can see, you do have a group of fellas here that are all very supportive in each other's roles with each other, and have each other's backs, from what I've gathered. And hopefully that sense of cannibalism that you once had is cured, as he says, and probably will not come back to you again to haunt you and stuff. So hopefully that all works out. So my next question is, how do you see yourself now today in this moment, after all that experience you've had?
Um, Now I see myself as part of a family. These guys are like my brothers. They've got me through this. They help me. I help them. We're like a little family here.
That's perfect. I'm glad to hear that. Now, when you did enter here, first of all, and I've asked this to a couple of the other guys here, is how did you feel? Did you almost feel like you couldn't trust anybody? Did you eventually, like, how did you make yourself feel like you could call this home?
When I first entered here, I decided I was going to isolate myself from everyone because I couldn't trust anyone. But trust bonds were made, and yeah, now I've got full trust in them.
That's perfect. And how did that work out for you? Like, how did you come to that point to trust them?
Well, Dean needed to go on a little supply run because we were running low on supplies. He asked me if I wanted to come. We bonded, getting supplies, and now we're like brothers.
It's funny how a little supply run will take each other to a different level of friendship or just experience with one another.
Yeah.
And along your journey now, is there anybody outside of the camp here that you've met and continue meeting as friends?
Um, as Lennon said before, not Lennon, as Mickey said before, we did meet Bobby Bananas up in the safe. I think it's the old safe zone.
Luco,
He was
yeah.
lovely. He's a nice person. Helped us out. I do need to get him the multivitamins back, as we are a few weeks overdue.
I'm sure he's doesn't mind too much. I know he's a very lenient person and quite kind person that will probably not even ask for it back when you two try to give it to him anyways. But I do appreciate that you guys are that kind of people that are still willing to remember somebody who's helped you, because clearly helping each other is pretty much what's important to survival, right?
Yeah, definitely, big thing.
Well, shout out to Bobby Bananas and his courage to stand up to, the people and helping them, and making himself available when need be, when he finds, said individuals around the neighborhood, and is willing to clearly extend his arm out to help. That's another individual I'd like to shout out there is Bobby Bananas. Thank you, Bobby Bananas, for being such a kind person to these fellow folks here at this community, at the BRC. I'm sure, as you heard it, they really appreciate it too. So, my
Yeah.
next question
So
is, how would you describe yourself today as a person?
good, good. Um, More confident and relieved.
Okay. And what makes you say that?
Well, I'd say I'm more confident as when I first got here, I was a mess, but now I can speak to people without having to hide away and trust issues, and relieved because I found a good community and I could be dead, but I'm not. I'm alive.
You're alive. Yeah, that's a great outlook, mate. Now, again, I've asked this question to a few of the other ones too. Is what would you say the leader here, Mr. Dean, if you had one thing that you can say about him in terms of improvement, what would that one thing that would be, or more things if you had to add to the list?
Um, to be honest, he's everything I've asked him to improve on. He has, so there's not much to say. He's got a lot better.
And what was some of those things, if you could mention any, that he did have to improve on that you felt that he has improved on?
One of them was like building trust with other people. So when I first met him, he wasn't very like good at speaking to each other, but now he can speak, like give orders, tell us what to do, and then we can tell him what to do.
All right, so it's a give and take.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you ever see yourself coming out of this community tent area and surrounding and moving possibly by yourself somewhere or with another possibly friend that you made here, or just do you even feel like maybe it's the opposite and actually you're going to stay here and maybe even be some kind of a leader as well here, or in terms of like what kind of way you can help, such as like as you said, you're a therapist. So is it something like that that you find yourself, would you want to stay here or do you find yourself you want to leave?
Hopefully one day I'd like to go set up a little therapy centre on my own, but until that day I'm gonna stay here with these lot. They've got my back, I've got theirs. It's all a good experience.
All right, awesome. And how would you feel about the pretty much the main members here today in this community?
Um, well, Mickey, since I first met him, he's got a lot better with his alcohol. He's stopped drinking as much. Uh, Conrad's kind of new here. I'm still getting to know him. He seems pretty nice. The new one, Sam, I haven't really spoke to him yet. I need to build some bonds with him. And Dean, he's class. I can't speak highly enough of him. He got me from a dark place and got me here today.
Well, that's great to hear, mate. That you all pretty much, like you said, have a really good bond, and if not, then you are definitely willing
Who's
to
Dean?
keep experiencing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone says, "Who's Dean?" I think that's the leader, mate. um, all right, I might have one more question here. If I gave you right now $1 million, what would you do with that money?
I'd probably turn it into little care packages and go out and help people who need it. So like, in the care package, put food, a couple of weapons, clothes. Just go help them survive, get them through the first 2 nights.
Oh, that sounds amazing. That sounds really nice. And I think my last question here is, as being a therapist, where did you get this experience from?
So after my time in the army, I went to a lot of therapists, and I kind of learned from what they were saying, and I used it on some people I knew. It helped them out, and I decided to go get my therapist license, and I got that. Was a therapist for 5 years, and then, well, this struck, and yeah, it's been different.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for that interview, and I appreciate your time here. And I'm glad that we had this conversation, and I'm glad that now a lot of more people are going to pretty much know exactly who the community here is, and obviously all your backstories. And in closing, is there anything you'd like to add?
Um, yeah, thank you for interviewing us and getting our community out there.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. I mean, that's pretty much I do out here in Livonia. Is I like to take my time and make sure that people know who the neighbours are, who's who around here, because as you might have already come to realize here in your own community is you guys are a community, and you guys watch each other's backs just like everyone else that you go here in Livonia, including Luco and Grebin. There's a community of people there, and they have just the exact same mentalities you guys have in terms of helping each other and creating bonds with people. And from that, that's what creates, the human race to be stronger and fight against this disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you again. And this is Felix the Journalist, and we're reporting live here at the RBC. Oh, sorry, the BRC. My mistake, guys. The BRC. And I hope you guys enjoyed these interviews with me and the fellas. And I'm just going to quickly give you guys a little bit here. These are the fellas. And I'm sure they're all really happy to have spent some time here with us and make this time for me a lot fun, because I definitely had a great time getting to know all of them. A lot of awesome people. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And just to
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for coming.
just to give ourselves a quick tour of your facility,